When people compare the American and the Romanian cultures, they mostly focus on the differences between the two. But in this video, I want to talk about 5 similarities between Americans and Romanians. And the first one on my list is the love for fast food. So I think everybody knows that the US is kind of like the father of fast food, right? The burgers and the wings and the fried chicken and the sandwiches and everything, right? I think people eat fast food a lot in the US. It's very convenient for their lifestyle. You know, they have a lot of drive-throughs, and when they go to work or when they come back from work, it's super easy and super convenient to just like make a quick stop, get some food and go home and eat, right? Then at the same time, like some people can't afford to eat super healthy food and to cook with fresh vegetables and fresh fruit, so they resort to fast food because it's more accessible. But all in all, Americans love fast food, and they have so many chains, right, that became hugely popular in the rest of the world, like McDonald's and KFC. And I think Romanians definitely share this love of fast food. And it started back when we got our first McDonald's here in Romania. So I remember I was a kid. I was probably 7 years old when the first McDonald's came to my hometown. And the first day, there was this huge line for McDonald's, and everyone was dying to get a burger or a McChicken or something, or fries, and just like try the American fast food that they only saw on television until that very moment. So it was hugely popular. And of course, after McDonald's was such a huge hit, now we have so many other American brands here in Romania. We have KFC, we have Popeyes, we have Burger King, Pizza Hut. Like a lot of the chains in the US are now also in Romania, and people love to eat there. But this doesn't stop at just American fast food chains. So in Romania, the other super popular type of fast food is more the Turkish, the Mediterranean type of fast food. So shawarma or kebab. And there are a lot of joints that sell shawarma, kebab, maybe the Greek souvlaki, maybe a gyro, all hugely popular. And even when I walk on the streets these days, I see kids, right, like high schoolers, like, hey, do you want to go get a shawarma? So it's like this hugely popular fast food item that people here love. And even in my hometown, we have a joint that's run by Turkish people that sell really nice shawarmas here. So basically, it's a huge part of the Romanian culture to eat fast food and to enjoy it. And it's also a bonding experience for, I think, young people to just like get some fast food and talk. And another big difference between the US fast food culture and the Romanian fast food culture is that, for example, when we go to a McDonald's, we kind of see it as a restaurant, right? So it has a very different vibe. That's the place where I would go when I was a kid or teenager to hang out with my friends over, a soda or fries or something to eat. But it's more like, it's very clean. It's this restaurant setting. You go hang out. It's not the same vibe as in the US, where you just like go to a drive-through or you just go pick it up and go home. It's more like an experience, right? So I just wanted you to know that if you ever come to Romania, or I think anywhere in Europe, you're going to experience a pretty different vibe if you go to a McDonald's than the vibe you get in the US. Another thing that I think both Romanians and Americans love is all-inclusive vacations. So in the US, there are so many people that love going to Mexico, right? Cancun, maybe Tulum, maybe Cabo, and they all search for all-inclusive packages, right? Like you just fly to Cancun, you stay at a 4 or 5 star hotels, it's all inclusive, you eat what you want, you drink what you want, you spend the time, in the sun, or maybe you go swimming and you just like have fun staying at that hotel for like maybe 5 days or so with your family or friends. Now, Romanians do exactly the same thing, but they don't go to Mexico because it's quite far from us in terms of distance. They go instead to Greece, Cyprus, Tunisia, Turkey, Italy, Egypt. A lot of our travel agents and travel agencies, they create these really nice packages for Romanians where you can go for a week and pay, I think, just like a couple €100 and just like enjoy the all-inclusive lifestyle, right? And I think so many Romanians vacation this way, especially in the summer. It's something that's super popular even in my hometown, which is small. It has 200,000 people because so many people go to these all-inclusive locations buying these packages from travel agencies. They even charter flights directly from my hometown to those locations. Like the volume is that big that it's profitable for them to have a plane flying to that location. So it's something that both cultures love, just to relax, sit in the sun, eat a lot of food. Definitely very, very similar to one another. The third thing that's similar is the love for coffee. As you know, in the US, there's a Starbucks every 3 blocks in New York City, right? Like there's a Starbucks everywhere in the US, no matter the state or the city you go in. It's so easy to find a Starbucks next to you. And it's not just Starbucks, right? There are 1,000 other chains that are popular in the US. And the only difference is that the US people like their coffee large and also more watered down. So they would rather drink like this venti cup of coffee that I think it's, 700 milliliters, 800, like something ginormous, right? It's like it's almost 1 liter of coffee. And they love like all these like sugary coffees and frappuccinos and with whipped cream and syrup and like all this stuff, right? It's like very dessert coffee-ish. And in Romania, we also have so many coffee shops, but the difference is that we love our coffees espresso based. So you would always see people drinking either espresso or cappuccino or a latte, but everything is more espresso based. It's pretty unusual to see a person on the street in Romania with like a venti cup of coffee. It's almost non-existent. And because they're espresso based, they're also stronger. You feel the effect immediately. And I think generally people don't like to sip on a liter of coffee, right? When they go somewhere. Here in Romania, we have so many coffee places. So in the summer, you also have outdoor seating for all the coffee places. So it's a really nice atmosphere, especially in the city centers, where basically the entire city center is like restaurants and coffee shops, and you can sit outside and enjoy the good weather and drink coffee and eat something. And it's just this really nice European atmosphere of let's relax, let's chat with our friends and family, let's enjoy some coffee. I think over the last few years, the coffee to go trend also started in Romania. A lot of new local coffee chains appeared, and a lot of small local mom and pop coffee shops also popped up. So now we have this like huge coffee culture. You have so many options if you visit Romania. And I would say that Starbucks, we do have Starbucks, it's not very popular. So I would say that the majority of people prefer to go to a local coffee shop where they know they can get a very nice espresso-based drink instead of going to Starbucks. So there are little differences in terms of how people like their coffees and where do they buy it and things like that. But overall, both Americans and Romanians love coffee. The fourth one is the love for driving. And maybe I don't know if love is the right word, because I think in the US you have to drive because this country is built for cars and not for people. But Americans drive a lot, right? As we all know, they drive everywhere. They drive to work, they drive to the grocery store, they drive pretty much everywhere because you need to. The distances are so large that you can't afford to not drive. Now, in Romania, it's a bit different. People drive a lot. People love cars. I think young people, when they turn 18, they get their driver's license and they try their best to buy a car as soon as possible. And people love to drive because it's convenient, right? If you live at the outskirts of the city and you need to come to the city center for work, for example, it's much easier to drive to the city center than take public transportation. Just it's more convenient. And we do have great public transportation, but having a car is definitely more convenient. Now, another thing that Romanians do, at least in my hometown, is that they love to park exactly where they're going. So if they have to go to this particular shop, for example, they love to drive like right in front of the door of that shop, so they don't have to walk at all. They just like go straight from the car to the shop, back in the car, and then they drive back. And it's something that's so ridiculous. Like, if you can't find a parking spot and you have to park like at a 5-minute walk distance, people here are so annoyed that they have to walk for 5 minutes and they didn't find a parking spot like exactly where they're going. I don't know, I just think it's ridiculous. And I think in the US, if you live in a large city like New York, Chicago, I think you always put your car in a parking lot and then you end up walking a little bit anyway, right? You can just park wherever you're going. So it's interesting how the cultures are a little bit different there. But overall, people love to drive here. Yes, the cities are definitely walkable. We have good public transportation, I think, all over the country for cities. But people still love to have their car and drive everywhere. And the final thing on my list is side hustles. So I think both cultures try to have a lot of side hustles to make extra income. In the US, right, I feel like people are always thinking like what businesses to start, maybe what to sell on Etsy, to create a YouTube channel, to, I don't know, like teach people how to crochet, like, I don't know, walk dogs. Like, they always think of side hustles and what else they can start and how else can they create income for themselves. So it's a very like side hustle culture in the US. Honestly, it's the same in Romania. Since salaries here are not that great in certain fields, a lot of people feel the need to do side hustles. So for example, right, like I have my nail tech, and she's actually a college student, and you know, besides studying for her classes and going to school, she is a nail tech on the side to make some money so that she has money to spend when she goes out with her friends. You know, people are always trying to do other things on the side, to try to get like freelance gigs, to try to do a lot of different things to make more money. So I think both cultures are focused on that. I think on the Romania side, it's mostly because the wages tend to be lower and people just need more income. So it's kind of like need-based to be able to survive and to live a better life. And for the US, it's sometimes also need-based because some of the wages there are also quite low, but I think it's also want-based. I think it's just wanting more money, wanting to save more or to invest more or stuff like that. But nonetheless, regardless of the reason, both cultures are side hustle fans. 5 similarities. Did you know about them? What do you think about them? And what else would you add to the list?